Hey, well, thank you, Jay. Hey, everybody. I'm John Bent. I'm one of the IO 500 committee members. I'm going to talk about the new lists, do a little bit of analysis, and hopefully all of you will join us on our web pages and do some of your own analysis. And please, whatever you find out that you find is interesting, share with us in the community, in the new mailing list, and the new Slack channel. All right. So first of all, we want to just remind everybody about how we compute the scores. So as you know, we've got some bandwidth phases, some metadata phases, as well as a namespace search. Specifically, we have IOR easy, which does a read and a write phase, and IOR hard, which does a read and a write phase. The distinction is in easy, every process is reading and writing its own file, and hard is a shared file. So the first thing that we do is we compress those 4 IOR scores using geometric mean to create a bandwidth score. We have similar metadata easy and metadata hard. In easy, we create stat and delete, and in hard, we create read, stat, and delete. We have the read as well in hard, which we don't have in easy, because during the create in hard, we actually put a small amount of data into the files, whereas easy are empty files. Easy tend to be a directory per process, and hard is single shared directory. So then once all of those files are created, we also do a search across all of the files to look for a subset of files. So we combine all of the MD test scores with the find rate using geometric mean to create a metadata score. We then use geometric mean one last time to combine those 2 scores into an overall score. All right, so first, submissions per BOF. We had some really nice growth, especially our third BOF. We had a lot of submissions, very excited about that. It's a little bit flat for the past 3. It was a little bit down this year. We're going to chalk that up to COVID, but even though we didn't have a lot of submissions, we had some great submissions. And with that, let me start telling you a little bit about them. So this graph here, which is available at the new website, along with a bunch of other graphs, shows all of the metadata scores that we've received by BOF. As you can see, a bit fewer in SC20, as we already looked at, but one really high metadata score. We're going to look at that. And so here is the max metadata rate per BOF. And as you can see, we had a really big jump this year from one of our submissions. We're going to look at exactly how to quantify that jump towards the end of my presentation. So here's all of the bandwidths for BOF, very similar to the metadata in terms of the size of those scatter plots for each BOF in terms of the quantity of dots within, right? Because that's submissions. And you can see that bandwidths were pretty flat. And then this year we had a really good bandwidth score. All right, and then this is looking at, from each of those scatter plots, the max bandwidth for each of our BOFs. As you can see, it's pretty flat for a long time, a big jump this year. All right, this then is the overall score for the BOFs. As you can see, we had a nice score this year. And then here it is from each of those scatter plots, the max score from each of those BOFs. And yet again, a very big jump this year in the overall score. Jay's going to announce those winners in a minute. So hopefully you're all curious who exactly it is that had such a great submission. You'll find out soon. And just looking really quickly at the improvement in the top scores from BOF to BOF. I actually cropped this graph at 4x. That one metadata score in SC18 was actually almost a 10x improvement. So what you can see about the metadata scores is that, aside from that giant jump, it was about 2x for the next 3 lists, then almost 4x this list. Bandwidth was about approximately flat for the first 5 BOFs, about 2.5x for the last 2. Overall, we were doubling pretty good, pretty regularly for about 4 BOFs in a row, doubling every 6 months for about 2 years. And then this list, almost a 4x jump in the overall score. So a really nice submission. And with that, I will turn it back to Jay to tell you exactly who it was that had those really, really nice scores. Thank you all very much.